The growing calls across the nation to defund the police.
To end policing as we know it.
Off the charts violence in New York City. 11 people shot in just 8 hours on Sunday.
This is about the police officers who every single day put on that uniform and they run towards danger when we run away from it.
What's up, baby? Good morning.
And giddy up on this Black Friday breakdown, baby, on the Failure to Stop podcast. I'm Mike the Cop, and this is Eric Tansey. We want to welcome you to the show. While hopefully some of you guys out there in patrol cars taking a quick break from fighting off the old ladies who are diving into dollar towel boxes at Walmart and pulling each other's hair extensions out. So we're here for you to provide a little bit of reprieve, as it were. Today, guys, we are going to. Y'all know that I want to kill pedophiles. This doesn't help. That's just not going to help curb that desire, curb that appetite. We are going to be talking about Balenciaga. I don't know the perfect pronunciation for this, and their photo shoot involving children and teddy bears in bondage gear. And there's more. We're going to break that down and the general attack on our children. We're going to talk about some principles. We're going to talk about some details. Yeah. So if that's a big issue for you to listen to anything like that, then here's your warning, because we're going to talk about it. And yeah, that's what's going to happen on today's show. But before we get into that, we have some housekeeping items. We have 4 shows a week, right? Is that where we're at right now, Tansy? 4?
Yeah, man. Got off the cuff. Tuesday night shift with Andre up late. Thursdays, everything else in the news so that you have something else to talk about over the weekend other than dead babies and domestic violence. So you don't sound like an asshole first responder at the civilian Thanksgiving barbecue. And then, of course, today, Fridays, are case breakdowns.
Giddy up. So no excuses. If you feel like, man, I don't have enough good things going on in my life. Well, we give you at least 4 hours of good things every week. So if you want to support the show, you can go to failuretostop.com and grab yourself some merch. You can become a member on YouTube. You can share the episodes. You can tell people about it on social media. You can encourage people that you know to listen. If you like the content, we're really dependent upon you guys spreading the word. There's no paid marketing behind the show in terms of like trying to gain listeners by paid marketing. So it's all up to you guys, the WOLFPACK. We appreciate you. Everything that you do, including subscribing on Apple Podcasts or Spotify and leaving a rating and review, which we have one this week coming from Apple Podcasts. This says from J-Ho 1965, pre-responders to second responders. Love it. This podcast markets itself to first responders, but as a pre-responder, I appreciate fellow pre-responder Dave's viewpoint of view. Us security professionals find this show quite entertaining on those long, lonely nights dreaming of sleep on a ghost bed. From Tansy's tips on keeping your third marriage, Mike's constant interruptions, stepping on other people. Wait a second. Come on. I've apologized to everyone involved.
Hey, people seem to enjoy that, though, apparently.
Yeah.
I'm trying here. I'm not even on the show anymore, hardly. Like, how can I interrupt? I'm not even here. All right. I just interrupted myself, actually, really. When you think about it. Mike's constant interruption, stepping on other people's points to Andrea's naked shoulders. This show has something for everyone. Us pre-responders appreciate Dave's humor and insight. Remember, before the first and second responders get the call, a pre-responder is already there. It's us who probably call. Thank you, security guards, for your service. We appreciate all of you and your key rounds, whatever it is that you're doing to keep that building safe. We thank you. Wow, that's a good review.
That is a good review.
Oh, my gosh. What else? Everybody, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Hopefully you're having a great holiday weekend. Hopefully this show is a part of that, sort of like chilling out, being with family, getting some shopping done, whatever it is that you're doing. And just remember to thank Uncle Joe that you can now buy 8% less things for 8% more money.
You know, it's funny that that guy.
How was your weekend?
That guy called you out for interrupting or whatever. Andrea gets the worst messages of anybody on the team. She gets like we posted one on the story. I forgot the chick's name, but like she gets called out for like the things that she does with her teeth, or like showing too much shoulder, or saying too much. I mean, people are like ruthless on her. It's it's very crazy, like how serious people take
all people
podcast
that
personalities.
have a total combined podcast listenership of 0. Every single critic has absolutely no shows to point to that say they understand it better.
It's crazy.
The best
it's super
thing
funny,
is
but
I've had people message me telling me things I can do to make the process of the podcast better.
Yeah.
And explaining to me how to do my job. So that's
you need it though. You need it.
Yeah.
Like for instance, my mic keeps just turning itself up, and it doesn't matter what I do. I've already changed it 3 times in the show. Still just keeps on doing it.
Yeah.
Hey man, that's a you problem.
I
I'm
don't
just
know
gonna
what's
put
going
the
on.
mic like way away from me. How about that? Is that better?
Yeah, it'll work.
It sounds good.
Sounds
man.
good. Let me tell you what kind of a fat piece of shit I am. I'm up to taking like 3 Tums an hour right now.
I think you
I
can
have
only take
not
so many in a day without maybe death.
Probably.
There's only so many
ODing
Tums you
on
can
Tums.
take. I don't know what the limit is.
But I have not stopped eating since I got here on Tuesday. And I ate so much yesterday that my stomach hurt so bad that I had to go to bed early. I went to bed about 8 o'clock, and because my stomach hurt so bad, because I could not stop eating from the minute I woke up to the minute I lay down. And I got up this morning and I started breakfast off with a pumpkin crisp, a cup of coffee. And then I had a turkey sandwich.
That sounds good. A pumpkin crisp and some coffee sounds really good.
It's like pumpkin pie, but on top of, so it comes in squares, and it's like whipped cream, pumpkin pie, and then a collage of nuts like in a crust.
Interesting.
And it's called a pumpkin crisp.
If it was like an oatmeal type crust, I think I'd probably really like it.
Oh gosh, it was so good. And then I had
what I had this morning is 3 egg whites and 50 grams of chicken breast.
Oh, yeah.
I did douse it in Cholula hot sauce though.
Yeah. Nico the Greco says, Tansy, your mic volume is up and down. Fix it. I can't fix it, dude. I don't know what's going on with my microphone this morning. I cannot fix it. We've tried.
I'm a witness that he has done the necessary things to try to fix it.
So what I'm going to do is just go like way
Look
back
at that
here
pumpkin
from,
crisp.
Oh, that is a good pumpkin crisp. And it's so good.
It's like a dollop of tansy love on top.
Oh yeah, sweet Anna. Come to me, mama.
That's the opposite of this show's theme today.
Can your belly button become an outie if you get too fat?
I don't know. I've never tested the limits that far.
I feel like my belly button is becoming an outie because I'm getting fat.
Maybe. You better fix that. You better get to the gym again.
Dude, I was working out 15 minutes a day every single day up until yesterday. So
15 minutes a day.
I could do this. Yeah. It's a new plan I've got. No diet, 15 minutes of exercise a day, and you can have a body just like this.
I don't know what the threshold is. I have to dig into the science on that one. I'm not sure.
You too can look like me with 15 minutes of mediocre average.
You should sell it to the WOLFPACK, the Tansy Bod DVD pack. It's like Thai.
If you want an Audi, if you're any wants to become an Audi, work out 15 minutes a day, because that will convince you that you worked out and you can eat whatever you want after that. So that 15 minutes allows me to just sit on the couch and eat out of the carton of ice cream at free will, like with no moderation at all.
Yeah,
because I worked out.
Yeah, that's one way to look at it. I think that means you're pregnant. You'll sometimes hear us referencing chat, guys. We have like I mentioned earlier, YouTube membership. If you are a member of our YouTube channel, you have access to live recordings in the background for shows that we don't broadcast live, but you get like little perks inside the Discord and on the chat and all that stuff. So we're always live on YouTube on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. and Fridays at 11 a.m. for the shows. The other 2 shows are recorded for members only. So get yourself a members only jacket and get in the club. Get in the club. All right. Let's think before we dive into today's topic officially, let's thank a couple of our sponsors. Oh, I forgot about this meme because it's the holiday season, and I'm a big believer that Christmas decorations and Christmas music can only begin after Thanksgiving. But I did discover this historic photo of children listening to Mariah Carey's "All I Want for Christmas," and I feel the same way, kids. I feel the same way.
It's kids huddled during what looks like a tornado drill.
Yeah, that'll help them. If that built,
And
when
like,
all
what
those
is it?
brick-
Like
when all
one
those
teacher's
bricks
like
fall on
standing
top of
up,
them, that'll help.
and the other teacher's like on her knees praying for them. Like, is that part of the process? Like, come on, kids, put your heads between your knees and cover your ears and your eyes. It's a nuclear blast. I'm just gonna pray it away. So,
Right. There you go. Anyway, let's thank a couple of our sponsors here, and then we'll dive into the
I mean, it's
child attack on children.
Yeah, it's Black Friday, baby, which means everybody's shopping today. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people. A lot of people are shopping today. And you could do all your shopping with Failure to Stop because all of our sponsors have all the things that your first responder wants in this world, like ammunition from ammoseek.com. It's a one-stop shop to find ammo. It's a search engine.
It's impossible
if there's anything,
to have too much ammunition.
you
Impossible.
can't have too much ammo. You got to go to ammoseek.com. I think there's a promo code WOLFPACK on there some way, somehow. It doesn't really have that on here, but I think there's like a customer survey or how did you find us? Whatever you do, make sure you tell them that the WOLFPACK sent you. But everybody wants ammo in their stocking. So go to ammoseek.com, get you some daggone ammo. That's ammoseek.com. After that, we've got what else every man wants. And this is
Peace and
iTarget.
quiet. To be left
iTarget.
alone.
Some alone time. iTarget, man. This is one of the gifts I'm super extremely excited about. If you're passionate about shooting and the Second Amendment and the whole 9 yards, gun safety, then you can get iTarget, download the app, load the taser bullet into your firearm. You can start training today. Never stop dry firing. Even better, my wife can now practice safely without even needing to leave the house. The system develops muscle memory, reaction speed, sight alignment, trigger control, and more. Right now, you can save 10%, plus get free shipping with the offer code WOLFPACK when you go to itargetpro.com. That's itargetpro.com, itargetpro.com. With the cost of ammunition right now going through the roof, this is a great kind of a balance there. You don't have to go out there and just burn a bunch of ammo. You can load the little laser bullet into your cannon.
If you know someone into guns, getting this for them for a holiday gift would be like it'd be very welcomed. They'd be pretty stoked about this.
Yes.
No doubt about it.
And then if you got them some Undertack tactical boxers to go with that from undertack.com, undertack.com. No,
my testes are tactical.
Like, could you imagine waking up from your good night's rest on a ghost bed to seeing your significant other standing in the living room on Christmas morning in his Undertack boxers and his jacked Audi belly dry firing on iTargets in his Undertack? If that happens on Christmas, I want a picture of that. Like, if somebody in the Wolfpack gets Undertack underwear, iTarget Pro, and hell, buys ammunition and stages a picture, I'll autograph one of my hats and send it to you or something. I don't know. Do something cool. But right now, if you use the promo code WOLFPACK20, you can get 20% off site-wide, undertack.com. Promo code WOLFPACK20, undertack.com. Promo code WOLFPACK20, and get you some underwear that were meant for the operator. Yeah. I love a good pair of underwear, especially on Christmas.
Giddy up. Everybody gets underwear for Christmas, so get them tactical underwear.
Now, excuse me while I pop another Tums.
Yeah, you can only have 15 and 24 hours and be safe. I looked. So, yeah, you got to be careful with that. I don't know what it'll do. I didn't have time to look that up while we were on the show, but I looked. I did Google it. It says 15. That's Tums official's number. So be careful. You can also eat too many bananas in a day.
And too much cinnamon.
Calcium carbonate is not very poisonous. Few people die from antacid overdose, and recovery is quite likely. However, high calcium levels can cause serious heart rhythm disturbances, as well as kidney stones kidney stones, and damage to kidney function.
Yeah, be careful.
Also give you an Audi.
Undertack will give you an Audi of a different variety. All right.
A tactical boner.
That's a website for sure.
Tacticalboner.com promo code.
That's a whole graphic novel style adventures of the tactical boner. Kicking in entrances to vaginas.
It's like you paint a helmet. Like
Gosh,
the head of your penis is like a helmet.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Let's just leave that for everyone's imaginations.
I might do that for the old lady on Christmas.
I'm sure she'll appreciate that.
Oh, Ghost
Recon. All right.
Let's see. What's that? What's the game that everybody plays? The army game on
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty.
I have no idea.
The army game.
Oh my gosh. All right. Let's dive into it today. I first became aware of this story, and the crazy part is if you try looking up a lot of this stuff, you'll see news articles about apologies and things like that, but you have to dig for more of the info. And thankfully I saved a bunch of it from some accounts that were covering it before it kind of like disappeared. So we'll show you some of that stuff today. But what drew my attention to this was two things. Candace Owens' tweet was really the main thing, and then watching the Tucker Carlson piece on it. If you're not familiar, Kim, let's take a step back. Kanye, or what is he going by now? Just Ye.
Yay.
Just something like
Moorish bullshit that they're.
Dude, Kanye is
sovereign citizen. Moorish.
Let me be really clear. There's some people that think Kanye is
ignorant.
just this based dude that has got his act together. Kanye, sure, has said some things that I agree with in terms of like generalities, but overall, I think Ye is a mental patient. Okay, I think he's got serious need for probably some medication and therapeutic treatment. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, he was in a severe, like a serious car accident where he broke his jaw and had his shit wired shut. And I mean, like, was insane. Like, I mean, obviously, this guy is like the staple boy for TBIs. Like the NFL should adopt him for traumatic brain injury
issues.
research.
Yeah, they should run him for Pennsylvania instead of federal. But the point is, like, I'm not saying any of this stuff to defend Kanye. I don't have a dog in that fight. But basically, he was quote unquote canceled, right? For, let me take this off the screen here real quick.
Yeah, but was he canceled? Like, did people just like throw away?
That's why I said like
graduation album.
He was canceled, right? Like, when we say that, we don't mean literally you can't find his stuff anymore. We're just saying like basically pop culture has made him anathema because of statements that he made about Jewish people that everyone's kind of hopping on, labeling him as an anti-Semite, and then pushing him away, which of course, if you haven't kept up with that stuff, whatever, be sure to go back and watch Chappelle's SNL monologue that he responds to this in, because how he handles it, I can't handle it or say it any better than Chappelle does. So just go listen to that because it was genius. All that said is that Kim Kardashian, his ex, and this will all tie together here eventually, she immediately like jumps all over this train, this canceling train, and talking about anti-Semitism, decrying anti-Semitism, all that stuff, doing the same virtue signal that everyone else does, because they literally, all these people decrying and outraged against Kanye do absolutely zero for the Jewish community. They've done absolutely nothing. Like, that's not their cause. That's not what they do. But yet now they virtue signal this to capture the wave of attention, and it's all fake. And
they all do it while they're wearing their Adidas tennis shoes.
Yeah.
Like Adidas was like literally like, what was the guy's name? DDoS or whatever his name was, like literally a Nazi, like not like a Trump Nazi, but like a real life practicing
Correct.
Nazi, like same as they do as Doc Martin. I love when activists are doing their activist shit while wearing Doc Martens. And I'm like, dude, the guy made uniforms for Nazis.
Yeah,
And you're wearing his fucking shoes.
It's nuts. Like, it's the same thing with, I mentioned this before, and this does go to speak to the generality of this is in 2017, there was an NBA All-Star game set to be in Charlotte. Right. But then in North Carolina, there was some legislation that was going to basically prohibit trans women, which are really dudes, from going into certain bathrooms, right? From going into female, like there was some type of legislation. Don't quote me on the specifics, whatever. But it was perceived or touted as anti-LGBTQ plus, whatever, the alphabet army. It was touted against them. And so the NBA literally moved the entire All-Star game, crippling the preparations that they had done in Charlotte, basically killing the economy and harming all the people that supposedly that they support by taking all of their jobs away and losing all of their investment money and preparing the city for a large event like that. On the other hand, they go to Qatar for the World Cup. They change the USA flag colors to the LGBTQ rainbow flag and put that on the uniform and go to Qatar where they use slave labor to build everything for the World Cup, and homosexuality is straight up illegal. So all the outrage from the Marxists, and I distinguish Marxists from classical liberals, all of the outrage from the Marxists is entirely manufactured. It is not real. It is not trustworthy. It's entirely made up for nothing more than to retain their own power, position, and influence. Okay? This isn't a conspiracy. This is just straight, like, that's just how it is, right? This is obvious to anyone looking. Now, all that said, Kim Kardashian jumps right on the train about this. However, Kim Kardashian is a main spokesperson, Instagram influencer for Balenciaga. Okay? So Adidas immediately breaks ties with Kanye. Immediately. But Kim Kardashian jumps on that. But then this is what caught my attention about this. This is what led me to this. It was so great to see. This is Candace Owens' tweet. It was so great to see Kim Kardashian use her platform to condemn anti-Semitism. Let's see if she'll use that same platform to condemn the blatant child pornography documents being promoted in Balenciaga ads, since she is one of the faces of the brand. And then she also linked to Tucker Carlson asking what the F is going on with the disturbing Balenciaga ad involving children. Again, very, very few main outlets are giving this a lot of attention.
Well, here's the thing, too, is I woke up this morning and told the family what the show was on because they asked. And they were like, yeah, I think it's blown out of proportion. I mean, it was just a bondage doll. Like, it was in poor taste, but it's just a bondage teddy bear. And I'm like, oh, yeah, because that's what the mainstream media says. But it wasn't just a bondage teddy bear. It was the books that were in place. It was all of the other symbolism that was in the photo that literally links to child pornography. So the mainstream media is only talking about the teddy bear, trying to make this like a, something that's been blown out of proportion or something that's just been overly exaggerated.
Sure.
When no, that's not the whole truth. The whole truth is it's a bondage teddy bear and all these other things in the picture that directly and overtly link right back to pedophilia.
Yes, it's wild. And of course, some people are saying, and what I'm going to do is bookend this too. I'm going to start with what drew my attention. I'm going to jump to the apologies here. But what is interesting to me is that some people have said, well, this is just drawing attention. They manufactured this controversy in order to draw attention to the brand, which I could see in some sense as a viable strategy for brand awareness. However, what you cannot escape, even if you believe Balenciaga is not part of some like global cabal kidnapping and exploiting children and actually harming children. I understand that you would say, well, I don't go to that extreme. I don't think that that's this global cabal of satanic baby blood drinking people exist and all that stuff. That's an exaggeration. Okay, leave that aside. the point is, even if this brand decided to only do this, to only stage this to be controversial, they still used children to do it. So the point doesn't change because they still used kids to make the point. So that is the problem, right? So then, of course, apologies start flying. Balenciaga wiped its Instagram account. It has like 14.5 million followers. Now they do clear their Instagram for season changes for their fashion lines, but this was done prematurely. They just wiped the whole thing. Okay, so you can't see anything. The first apology was, we sincerely apologize for any offense our holiday campaign may have caused. Our plush bear bag should not have been featured with children in this campaign. We have immediately removed the campaign from all platforms. And just so that you know the idea of what we're talking about here, this is an example of what was in the photo shoot. Here we have
that's one of the softer pictures, actually.
Yes,
in my opinion.
So this is if you can't see the screen, obviously this appears to be a child in the range of 4 to 6 holding a teddy bear in bondage gear.
Yeah, she's definitely under 4 years old. She's 4 years old or under.
So
with wine glasses, champagne glasses, a table full set for an entire party of adults.
Yes.
And she's standing at the head of the table as what, to me, symbolizes that she's the star of the show, holding on to a bondage teddy bear. Now, here's the thing: when you were talking about, a big greater cabal or everything, at this point, like, I need to see evidence that there isn't a bigger one. At this point, you need to start showing me evidence that these rich elites aren't a bunch of pedophiles, because all I see since 2014, when a lot of this stuff started really coming to the surface. I mean, it was happening a lot earlier than that, but 2014 was when it was really hitting the airwaves. And by 2018, it kind of been written off as conspiracy theory, but now it's still like, we're still seeing these overt images of this stuff. I need to know proof. I mean, you got Macaulay Culkin coming out on this stuff. I mean, so many people are involved. And this brand, Balenciaga, only caters to the rich. Their sweaters are like $1,500.
Mm-hmm.
So they're only catering to high society. Like, if you go to any middle class town and ask, "Hey, have you ever heard of Balenciaga?" I guarantee
I've never heard of them until this incident.
Yeah, I bet you if you went to my town, like 3%. No, I would say 0.03% of the people you would interview would have no idea what Balenciaga even is. Balenciaga is only a brand that really rich people know.
Yeah.
Or people that have a lot of money. So if this brand knows that the elite are into something, they're going to promote that.
Yep.
So the only thing I can think of is that these elites, according to this advertisement, that these elites are really into this, because it's not just a plush teddy bear with bondage. There's a lot more. And Mike, I'll let you talk about that, but
it gets deeper than that for sure. So that was their first apology. Then they posted a further statement on Instagram apologizing for displaying quote unquote unsettling documents in a separate campaign, referring to documents from a Supreme Court case relating to child pornography laws. I will address that in a little bit. Their second apology was
fucking sane.
Their second apology: we apologize for displaying unsettling documents in our campaign. We take this matter very seriously and are taking legal action against the parties responsible for creating the set, which is them. They are the responsible party. This is what there's a lot of blame shifting going on here. Balenciaga is the party to blame, and everyone involved, including the parents of these children, who are disgusting human beings. But anyway.
Which that one dad already came out with a statement saying that the photo shoot was fun, harmless, and that these kids weren't abused. Okay, Dad. Okay.
No, they by virtue of being in the photo, that is abuse.
Right. Yeah.
No, anyone listen. If you are watching this, let me where is this? Let me take that down. Let's just look at that kid. and tell me that by virtue of being in the photo in and of itself, staging that photo, that is in and of itself, anecdotally, abuse of that child. If you disagree with that, fuck you. You are a disgusting human being. You need to repent of that evil wickedness in you, because you need to be mowed down. You need to be removed from the face of this fucking earth if
100%.
you think that this is okay. Period.
100%. They even have the little bunny there, which that little bunny has been a symbol used in pedophilia rings. It's known to be used in pedophile rings. The last picture that you showed, there was a when we were talking about the champagne glasses and the wine glasses. Why does any child need to be holding a bondage doll surrounded by champagne flutes and wine glasses? If it's a tea party for kids, then we don't have wine glasses and champagne flutes. But there's also a dog collar on the table.
It's
why is there a dog collar on the table? And again, we're going to get to the documents that we're seeing in the photos, which is literally a document. They took a paragraph from a law that regards to making child pornography legal to look at, and they used that section, that one paragraph of the new law, and they tucked it underneath one of the settings so that you can see it clearly when you zoom in on the photo. There's no denying that. That's not a conspiracy. Yeah. That's not a theory. That's real life in this photo. What would be the purpose of having a child holding a bondage doll with a copy of a new child pornography law on the table if there's no agenda there? That is a sick, disgusting, overt call to action for any rich person to be to normalize child pornography. And I think all these people should actually go to jail for this. Like, I think this is like, I can't think of another thing that I'm more outraged about than how overt and how unapologetic this is. And the fact that CNN News and NBC News only talks about and only refers to the teddy bear shows you that whose side that these people are on.
Yes.
If they're not going to talk about, and this is not not a theory,
right? Yeah, no, we're going to show you what is in these photographs. Like it's wild, right? So the second apology continues. We take this matter very seriously and are taking legal action against the parties responsible. They are the responsible parties, and including unapproved items for our Spring 23 campaign photo shoot. We strongly condemn abuse of children in any form. Obviously not. We stand for children's safety and well-being. Obviously not. Here's the thing, guys, is that the amount of people now, both Tansy and I were just in some part of the same production where we helped put together this basically what's going to be a documentary for a Veterans Justice Initiative. More about that in another show, I guess, or something. But the point is that it's a major production, right? Like there's a producer, there's directors, there's key grips, there's camera people, there's sound people, like there's a crew. Right?
They have to have breakfast on the set.
There's writers.
Have to have lunch on the set.
There's writers. There's slate people. Everyone has to know at every stage of the game. For like a major company like this to do a photo shoot like this, you have to have people who come up with the campaign. So that's one. Then you have to have people who are recruited for the campaign. Then you have to have people who shoot the campaign, like who actually take photos and do the production. You have to have website people involved that decide to put this. You have to have social media people involved that all post it. You have to have corporate knowledge of a major campaign like this, of what's going to go on. At every single stage and at every single level, someone signed off on this.
And here's how it goes, though. Like the heads of those, like the head of the photography, maybe not it's going to be the photographer, right? You're going to have the photographer. You're going to have the videographer. You're
Gabriel Galimberti. There he is. That's the
They're
photographer.
all going to meet together and say what their agenda is and what they want to be seen. So if there was a paper placed on the set that has to do with child pornography, they had to say, listen, we want this to be visible. We need to address it in a way that the prop person puts it to where it's visible. Two, the photographer can see it. and so on and so forth. So it's not like they just kind of slid a piece of paper in there and that was it. No, this is all, these things are choreographed down to a T. The
Correct.
fake milk, the fake glasses. I mean, it's great.
And the photographer is also passing the buck, saying, I just shot what they told me to shoot.
Shut up.
You're
looking. You're a shitty photographer. Then you're a shitty photographer.
You're looking at the same thing. You took money to exploit children. Like, you know what you're doing. You're looking through the lens. You're framing the shot. You're making sure the lighting is right. You're doing everything to maximize the effectiveness of your job involving these kids. You exploited them. You are every single person from conception to posting in this they're all culpable of sexual child abuse. Period. Full stop. No room for disagreement. I don't care. I mean, make an argument for this. There is no argument for this that is satisfactory or acceptable to anyone that believes, from an objective moral standpoint, that exploiting children sexually for profit is okay. I can't think of any reasonable justification for this.
Could you imagine? I mean, I don't know, like, Carhartt or, Bass Pro Shop or one of these companies that reaches out to, more of the middle class. If that happened, nobody would shop there again. This being that it's a high society, high class, it only shows to me that they, one, knew what they were doing, and two, that they knew that their fan base was so okay with it, it doesn't matter. Everybody's now talking about Balenciaga into the holidays. Their core group, the people who can afford this, the guys like you and I, and the people, the peasants in our chat, will never buy Balenciaga anyway. So that ad, the cancellation of that ad never applied to us anyway. We were never going to buy that shit anyway. Mm-hmm. But now the elites that are into this kind of thing, they probably think this is the coolest thing ever. Because that's what makes me think that these people must be so in to child pornography, pedophilia, and this. I am now thoroughly convinced that all of this stuff is real until I see evidence that it's not real. Because why would a company with this, why would they do this if they didn't know that it was going to really put them on the map for their fan base?
Agreed.
Their fan base loves this, and their fan base will not forget this, and their fan base will now support them because they support pedophilia.
What's crazy is what happens if, and this is why I mentioned this, right? And I think Candace Owens was smart to juxtapose, especially because of the Kardashian connection, to juxtapose Kanye's anti-Semitism with Balenciaga's campaign. Because what if Kanye said, "Oh, I'm sorry," issued an apology. "I'm sorry I said those things. I'm not an anti-Semite." Would they walk back their canceling of Kanye? No, of course they wouldn't, because this is part of what they must do to further themselves. The faux outrage has to go in a certain direction. Now, here's why they cannot condemn. Here is why they cannot condemn pedophilia. You have to follow the logic here. We began, and listen, I'm going to get you can take my opinion or you can leave it. I'm going to get a little bit direct in terms of like what I believe going on here. This is, if you want to consider it a theory, consider it a theory all you want. The sexual revolution of the 60s was planting the seeds of the fruit that we are bearing now. So the free love, all that began to happen in the 60s was the seed planting of dismantling the nuclear family. Okay, what we all know is that a good, healthy family is the bedrock of a good society, and those good families have strong men who set the pace in the home. I'm not talking about being overbearing assholes. I'm talking about setting the pace, setting the example. Mothers who embrace their role as caregivers and nurturers of their children, and children who are kept in check by their parents, who are taught to obey and taught to be disciplined instead of run rampant with every idea that comes into their underdeveloped brains. And what happens now is we have come so far on this track that it's like a sunk cost theory. They're just doubling down on it and try to compete with the logic, right? If someone can identify as anything, then we cannot condemn pedophiles. This is where we are at in culture. I'm telling you, this isn't like one day. This is where we are at. We are at a point where if you embrace that someone can identify as anything other than what is normative and natural when it comes to sexuality, you cannot, by logic, condemn pedophilia. Example is that it's been uncovered. Matt Walsh has uncovered this, that Vanderbilt was doing, I think it was Vanderbilt, don't quote me on that, but it was a major player, allowing 10-year-olds to make decisions. There are politicians lobbying and being lobbied to allow underage 10 kids to decide that they want to be another gender and begin hormone therapy or to castrate themselves, physical mutilation to make them another gender, as if that was even a scientific possibility. Okay. This exists. And there's a group of people who want to say two things at one time. Pedophilia is wrong, but transgenderism is okay. You cannot think both of those things at the same time. You have to be all in one or the other because logically they go together. If you think that people can identify as anything, and if you think a child can do that, then you cannot stop an 8-year-old from wanting a relationship with a 28-year-old. You cannot logically stop it. And I don't agree with that, but what I'm trying to convey to you is that this is the fruit of what we have started long, long ago in our society, and we have tolerated for too long without being very clear and very specific that it is wrong. So if there is any hope for objective morality in you, you cannot support this. And not supporting this also means you cannot logically support the other nonsense that's out there. You can't. You cannot logically support transgenderism and not support pedophilia. You cannot. All right, that's my initial rant.
You know, I've said it. Yeah, I've said it before, and I, you know, I don't really need to say it. So every single show, so I'm not going to. But there was an article, and I believe it was by Jordan Peterson. Don't quote me on that. And I'm sorry, I know we shouldn't say that on that show, especially when we're trying to deliver some sort of news. But I believe it was Jordan Peterson. And if I find myself wrong, I'll correct myself on our Instagram. Follow us at Failure to Stop. But he said years and years and years ago, I'm talking like 2012-ish, that he believed around 2019, 2020, that pedophiles would use the same argument that homosexuals used in court for homosexual marriage for pedophilia. I was born this way. I was genetically developed this way. That love can be in a different form, and that not all love. I mean, the same things that they wrote in the bill to legalize homosexuality in marriage would be the same bill. And I thought at the time, I was like, that's nonsense. That's nonsense. I understand it. Like, I mean, there has just been a lot of gay people. Gay people have been around for a very, very, very long time. And every culture has like a very, there's a lot of documentation about it. Right. So I thought there's no way like that would be the end of this. And now it's 2022. And that's exactly the argument we're using. These are maps, minor attracted persons. They're born that way. Yep. They're, they can't help it. It's genetics. And no, at the end of the day, and I've always said that it's a discipline. Your sex life and everything is a discipline. We all feel the same way, or generally feel the same way. There's a large portion of men and women who all have the same curiosities, but you have a discipline not to do it. Do I have the curiosity to sleep with other women? Sure. Have I ever thought about it? Sure. I've thought about it, but I have the discrism not to do it.
That brings up a great point. What
I have the discipline to tell my wife, hey, listen, I got freaking, I've been hanging. This chick messaged me the other day, and it's really bothering me, man. Like she sent me a whole bunch of messages. I think you should read it because I don't think it's appropriate. And I'm just feeling, but if you don't get around, if you don't get ahead of those things, you allow them to manifest into your brain. Eventually, you're going to lay in bed late at night, and you're going to go revisit those messages, or you're going to revisit those temptations. It's a discipline to not do those things. And what we're doing is getting rid of that discipline. What we're saying is, no, act on your feelings. Because love is a feeling. That's why our divorce rate, in my opinion, is through the roof, because of this love is a feeling bullshit. I don't feel like I'm in love. Love is not a fucking feeling. It's a choice. You choose to wake up. You choose to get in shape. You choose to love your wife, and you choose to do things that will make you in love with your wife. Or you can choose not to. You can choose to bicker and fight with your wife or loved one. Instead of waking up and say, man, you look beautiful this morning, you chose to wake up and say, damn, girl, you need to brush your teeth. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have developed this mindset that everything is a feeling and that we should just follow our feelings and do anything. What you do in your own bedroom. That's why I say keep your kinks to yourself. Like, we all got to do it, but keep it to your fucking self. Go in your bedroom with your wife, with your loved one, and do that. Stop trying to normalize your lack of discipline. It's like normalizing being fat. Stop trying to normalize being fat.
Well, we're doing that in society too.
I know we are, but I'm saying, like, keep your fatness to yourself. Like make that something that you have to work out with you and your family, and something that you have to work on or not work on, because it's a struggle for a lot of people. But when you start wearing your fatness out in public, like what's her name does, where she wears that, the singer woman, the rapper chick, where she dresses disgustingly and just lets her rolls flop all around disgustingly on stage, like, that's normalizing and telling our kids that it's okay to be fat. It's not okay to be fat. I don't like being fat. You're slower, you're sicker. Your knees, your joints hurt. Things aren't good when you're fucking fat. You got to lose weight. You got to get a hold of it. It's got to be a discipline. And it sucks. I struggle with being overweight all the time, but I work on it constantly. I don't celebrate my fatness.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed by it. I'm embarrassed by my fatness, my Audi belly button right now.
All right. Let's, this is another example of the photograph. I don't have the ability to zoom in, I don't think, on this, but what I want you to see, if you're looking at this photo, and again, I don't even want to put these on our Instagram. It's just like, if you're listening to the show and you're like, what are you even talking about? You're just going to have to go to the YouTube and see what little we do put this up here to reference it. But why this photo is important is that this isn't just these things that are referencing pedophilia are not incidental. They don't just happen to be coincidentally also identified with pedophilia. Everything is intentionally placed. Everything. And that's going to come into play. And I followed this lady, House in Habit. Now, I disagree. She's quite left. She's not somebody that I normally would agree with on most issues, but this is the point. I can have common ground with just about anybody on this issue that agrees with me. Somewhere in a brand meeting, bondage-clad teddy bears and satanic undertones were pitched and sold to Balenciaga to advertise their children's line. This is very important. At some point, we mentioned this, they had to approve this. This wasn't a shocker. They knew exactly what they were doing. Now, this is where things get interesting. On the table in one of the shoots, and there's tons of images that were part of this whole campaign. This wasn't just one image. This was like dozens of images. So we're going to highlight some of them. But this is what Tansy was talking about before, which is that on the desk, there's this purse, which has the 3 stripes for Adidas, because Balenciaga and Adidas have partnered together on different projects, shoe line, different things like that. And underneath the purse, now this desk is filled with all sorts of papers and folders, but one thing, a court case, if you zoom in, is exposed, and it is from the court case United States v. Williams regarding child pornography. The court documents included in these ads were absolutely deliberate. This is, again, a House and Habitat quote.
If they weren't deliberate, they would have been blurry.
Yes.
But they weren't.
Think about how much time and effort goes into pulling a particular legal document. I know, because often I have to hunt down specific case documents, and it's never quick or easy. So Let's see. The court papers used as props were identified as being from 2008 Supreme Court case, United States v. Williams, which criminalized the pandering of child pornography. So that was one thing there, was putting this case in there. So this is Easter egg number 1 that is painfully obvious, that this wasn't like, oh, it would be cute since they're teddy bears to have kids in there, right? So, because that's kind of how the apologies come off. Oh, it was wrong to use kids. Well, no, it was completely on purpose that you used kids. If you if you as a brand in your apologies say that you stand against the exploitation of children, then why did you do it with not only like coincidence, but with full knowledgeable intentionality? So much so that you literally printed out a Supreme Court case brief and put it on a table full of papers and made just this section of a court case about pandering of sexually exploitive material of kids visible.
What if it was like this, Mike? You and I are as outraged at pedophilia as some people are outraged by a rebel flag. So let's just say that you have a brand and you decide to make a photograph with a person of color wrapped in a Civil War flag from the South that might not be overtly a rebel flag. That might have been like one of the flags from like a Georgia unit or something like that. But obviously a rebel flag. And you wrap this person of color in this rebel flag and you take a bunch of pictures with it, and then you put it out there, and then somebody sees that you have the racist flag and they like, you recall it. Well, it doesn't matter. All the other racist, or I mean, not racist, but all the people that support that rebel flag or that kind of thing, they all saw that ad and they're pumped, baby. They're like, yeah, South will rise again. And they go out in flocks and buy that product. You already appealed to the people who you pumped up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what they've done here is they pumped up the pedophiles, the rich.
This is a brand
pedophiles.
awareness
They pumped
campaign.
them up.
Yes,
it is absolutely like this was their plan from the beginning.
Absolutely.
There's no sugarcoating this. This was their plan. Everybody's talking about Balenciaga, and all the little fucking rich pedophiles are out there going, oh yeah, oh they did it, baby, oh they did it, yeah. United States versus Williams, fuck yeah, dude. Yeah. Get me another one of those $1,500 sweaters and another child to diddle.
Easter egg number 2 in another office scene, which there's 2 from this. One of the books that is visible here is called The Cremaster Cycle by Matthew Barney. Anyone who knows anatomy will know that the cremaster muscle is the muscle which controls testicular contractions in response to external stimuli. If you look up the cremaster, there's a whole art campaign around this concept, and it gets very disturbing. So look up cremaster at your own peril. And this is the kind of shit that John Podesta, this is the kind of art that he was buying and showing off, by the way. Absolutely. Yes. This
artist, Michael Borsman. I mean, on what Mike's saying, these artistic images include cannibalism, slavery, witchcraft. I mean, none of the themes of any of this art or anything in this book is of any redeeming nice quality. Yeah. This is all dark, satanic shit. The red shoes, kids running through the forest, the hunt, as they call it, where this elite societal class hunts these naked children and rapes them in the woods, and they stage this thing. That's all shrouded in conspiracy theory and everything. But these illustrations are of that. Mm-hmm. And then one of the pictures that they posted was a child wearing the red shoes.
Yep.
With this book that displays a bunch of children running in red shoes. There's just no coincidences here. There's no, but they want it to be so crazy that you sound crazy when you say it. But I'm here to say right now, as a C student at best, I'm not fucking crazy. And this is overt. There is a problem with pedophilia amongst the rich. and we need to uncover it as a society. We need to put an end to it. These aren't conspiracies anymore. I'm done with it, dude. I've always been done with it. We've done a number of shows on this, and I will start. I will go on an anti-pedophile campaign.
Yep.
I'll make shirts. I'll make watches. But I think right now, like that whole hashtag save the kids, I've never stopped using it. I don't care if the post gets squashed or not, but we should all be using that hashtag save our children. And we should all be trying to expose these pedophiles. And anytime somebody says that, you know, people have, I was arguing with the family yesterday about Michael Jackson being played. I said, like, hey, I know you guys are talking all about Michael Jackson, but let's not forget while you're listening to the song that he is like one of society's most prolific pedophiles. And they were like, well, you know, his music was art and what he did in his past is criminal. I don't let that bleed into the art. Well, no, to me, it bleeds into the art. There should be zero tolerance. Talk about canceling. Michael Jackson was a pedophile. I don't ever want to hear his music ever again. I don't care that he was a musical genius. He was a pedophile and his shit should disappear.
This photo in the background of the office is some type of certificate that has the name John Philip Fisher on it. Looking into that, Fisher now is on a walker, hard of hearing, has eye problems, has had heart surgery. When he asked his retained defense attorney if he was going home, she said no, he was going back to the infirmary at the jail. Why? Because that man molested his granddaughter since she was 4 years old. She's now 16. So he is someone that has been accused and convicted of molesting his granddaughter. And they put his name in a framed certificate. Makes sense, right? Which is the frame is there, right? Like that's what the photo shoot looks like. And you zoom in on it because it's like hidden.
I mean, I think we should put
right?
these pictures. I think we should put these pictures and expose it on our Instagram. I think everybody should see, and I'll write out a list of all the freaking nuggets and these things because I don't want people just going, oh, you know, because what they're reading in the tabloids and what mainstream media, again, what they're reading is a bondage teddy bear. It's not a bondage teddy bear. Nobody cares about the bondage teddy bear. It's these picture frames. It's these red shoes. It's this article, United States versus Williams. It's the totality of all this overwhelming evidence that they were targeting pedophiles to buy their fucking brand.
Yes, exactly. Now, someone named Belen Wilson on Twitter said, this trend of pushing boundaries using sex kinks to look edgy is filtering from advertising to adults to now children. It isn't edgy or disruptive, is ethically wrong. Balenciaga can get in the bin. I'm assuming that means like be thrown in the trash, right? Like
sin bin.
This isn't just some made up, like I said, conspiracy theory. This is a group of people that from start to finish found parents willing to go along with exploiting their kids in a sexual manner for profit, while at the same time referencing in supportive manners child pornography and abuse of children, and making other references to deeper, darker sexual things with kids. And it is not something that is just like, this isn't necessarily like as conspiracy-ish as like Pizzagate or something like that, right? Like where maybe you're grasping at disconnected dots. This is all like literally part of a very clear campaign. And it's all right there. Now, what are people in the industry saying? I don't know who this guy is. Do you know who this guy is that we have this video of?
Yeah, I think he owns the photography company that took the photos.
Okay, let's whichever
video?
one, the longer one is fine.
I don't know which one's longer.
The one was 2.5 minutes.
So I've had a lot of messages saying you need to see what's going on with Balenciaga. I have, and as a photographer that's worked with many brands in the fashion industry, I'm utterly horrified, and I'm angry. I know how many steps you go through as a photographer to get the client to approve images. I know how many adult eyes have to look at images for them to be printed, especially for a retail campaign where you're selling the product online. This gift shop shoot by Balenciaga is abhorrent. And those babies, those children who were not protected, I don't know where the parents were, but I do know that those children were not protected so you could sell your products. The fashion industry needs to do something about this. The owner of Balenciaga, caring all the way up to the CEO, to the owner, Francois Pinault, need to do something about this. The idea that any products for children are being sold now on the website of Balenciaga is an affront to those children that were not protected. This is unacceptable, and I don't care if I never shoot for anyone in this industry again. Children we're talking about. To my friends that have any contacts in the fashion industry, do the right thing and speak to the people that can do something about this. An Instagram apology, and yes, we're investigating, is not enough. This is an alarm for the industry. Where are we going? Where our most precious are being used for what? At what cost? No. Unacceptable.
Yeah, but we're not doing shit. We're not doing shit about it. We're making one fucking post from a dude that, you know, nobody
We're doing
knows.
plenty by you know, this is our fault. I think that's really important to understand, right? And people are like, no, it's not. It's not my fault. I don't support this stuff. We and I say we in terms of people that have half a brain and a moral compass. That's what I mean by we. We have allowed people with half a brain and no moral compass to gain massive amounts of influence over us and control over industries because we are too comfortable. We have become too complacent. We have become not outspoken enough. We haven't taken the action necessary to prevent this from happening further. We must take extreme ownership of our condition as a culture, as a country. Until we, as individuals, accept our part of responsibility in allowing us to get to this point, progress is going to be very, very impossible.
Could you imagine if what people that are outraged over rebel flags and Civil War statues, imagine if we took that same rage and we put that into the anti-pedophilia thing, like where if we went to these companies who literally bought like Mussolini's old thing and turned it into their fashion design house. And you can look that up. I don't remember the name of the company, but overtly fascist by doing that. And they bought up all of Mussolini's buildings and put their companies in each one of those buildings with all these other little markings. With this particular one that we didn't even mention, there was a piece of crime scene tape that just said Baal, B-A-A-L, on the crime scene tape next to the child being photographed. For those of you know, Baal is the satanic god of child sacrifice. That's what you sacrifice your children's to Baal or Baal or whatever, however you pronounce it. And what would be the necessary, like, why would you need some crime scene tape that has the words Baal on it in a children's photo shoot while the children's wearing the red shoes? Like, what is the purpose of that? It's nothing but evil. It's nothing but satanic. It's a slap in the face. It's saying, hey peasants that can't afford our $1,500 t-shirts, we're living the life over here. We're fucking children. We're doing these like slave things. We love Satan, drinking blood, getting baby penis foreskin things on our faces to look young. We're doing all these things. You peasants will never know. We'll do it right in front of you. Like, they're toying with us, treating us like we're peasants.
Yeah. The other thing that I will say, and again, I'm very clear when I come to like, hey, I'm speaking more from my own perspective right here, but I believe it to be true. And you can judge that for yourself. But understand this, all claims to truth are exclusive. And if you don't think that that's true, then I guess DM me and I'll explain it to you, because there is no other option. But the reality is that as a society, if we do not value children in the womb, we will not value children outside of the womb. This is, again, where it starts. The revolution that began in the 60s, okay, which included more abortion on demand, pushing us in that direction, that is a piece of this puzzle. Remember when I said at the beginning of the show, or early on in the covering this, it was then that we were planting the seeds when we began to disrupt the nuclear family. Fast forward to 2019, 2020. What is Black Lives Matter all about? Stated on their original website, they are here to disrupt the nuclear family. This is exact. It's not a conspiracy. It's an agenda, and it's not a hidden one. It's a stated one. I'm screaming this from the rooftops. This isn't something that you have to go find. It's there. They told you. And if you devalue kids in the womb, you will devalue kids outside of the womb. Take that to the bank. Do with that what you will. There is no world in which you say this human life has value as a kid and shouldn't be exploited just because of their location. Just because they happen to exist 6 inches from outside the womb to 6 inches inside the womb. Stop the nonsense. Stop supporting the nonsense. This whole slippery slope of sexual identity, teaching children that their identity is based on their sex and that this is fluid, and that as long as they haven't taken their first breath, they don't have the value to live. It's all bullshit. It's all evil. And it is all contributing to what we're seeing right here, right now with Balenciaga. And that's why they will get away with it. That's why there will be the FBI will show up to Mar-a-Lago for documents. The FBI will not show up to Hunter Biden's laptop.
The FBI
will not show up.
The FBI will leak what those documents said, but they won't leak anything that's coming out of Epstein's trial. They'll leak what's coming out of Trump's house, but they won't leak what's coming out of Epstein's house.
They will not go and investigate anybody at Balenciaga for putting these kids in this shoot. They will not do that. And this is just where we're at.
Somebody's put in the chat, so what do we do? What can we do? I'll tell you what you can do. You can post those pictures and you can expose it on your social media. You can tag us and your social media. Tag this podcast. Share this podcast out. Share others like it. Share the Candace Owens stuff. Share it. Everybody else gets to have this big, loud voice, but sometimes we're just like, I don't want to deal with it. No, I mean, I want to see everybody from the Wolfpack when I go, because I follow a lot of people from the Wolfpack on my own personal account. Last Call, Filter Stuff. Between all those accounts, we follow a lot of people that are in the Wolfpack. I hope that my feed is full of anti-pedo posts today. And that's a small number of us. But I mean, those are what you can do. While everybody else is putting the pro propaganda out, we should be fighting it and taking a stance on it. It shouldn't just have to be Candace Owens. It shouldn't just have to be Brandon Tatum or Corin Tatum or Mike the Cop. I mean, it should be everyone. It should be everyone posting about this stuff. Exposing.
Yeah, I think when it comes to what should we do, I think it's the same answer for just about any issue that we would bring up. Extreme personal responsibility. Extreme personal responsibility. Take a look at your life. Where are you spending your most precious resources, which are time and money? Where can you reallocate that in line with better, objective, moral direction and invest there and go all in? You can't control other people. We only have the ability to influence. And if you are not in control of yourself, your influence will be diminished. So you need to get control of yourself, your actual real you, right? Your body, mind, and soul. Take control, take responsibility for the mess you're in your own life, right? Fix yourself, grow your family, and be connected with other people who share your values and have your best interest and your family's best interest in mind and vice versa, and become an unstoppable force, not dependent on daddy government. It's all connected. Mainstream media, Hollywood, big politics is all one power play. And the only way to combat it is not to use them and not to need them. So that's where you start. We start with repentance from where you've bought into this stuff. We've allowed the convenience of our phones and coffee to outweigh the desperate need that we have to make sacrifices to combat this. I'm included in that.
Oh, well said.
All right. Wow. Okay. Obviously, I'm very passionate about this topic, or I wouldn't have brought it up.
Yeah, no, I mean, this was a great show. It was a show that had to be done on this Black Dark Friday. And I'm glad that we got to speak up against it, because I'm always on it, and I want to see Failure to Stop be more of a brand that exposes this kind of behavior. And that's why we do Last Call. I mean, how many rants do I go on Last Call on making your family a better, that's what Last Call is for. Is to promote healthy relationships. That's why I have my wife on. That's why I have my children come on early, just to talk to people, in the private chats and things like that, because that's what the most important thing in this world is moral value, discipline, and your family. And, we probably need to do a better job at promoting that as we go forward. But I appreciate you guys tuning in on this Friday with us.
Do we have any more sponsors that we got to make sure we mention here before we're out?
Dude, our sponsor, itargetpro.com, promo code WOLFPACK. Get you some of that undertack underwear, WOLFPACK 20. Get you ammoseek.com. Go to ammoseek.com and please let them know that the WOLFPACK sent you there. And it might be ammoseek.com/WOLFPACK. That one's been tricky for us. And then, of course, Ghostbed. And they've got the killerest Ghostbed Black Friday sale ever. Been talking about it all week.
Go get a Ghostbed on Ghost Friday.
Rip Pack, dude. There's less than 1,000 now, but they made a WOLFPACK only branded vanilla and mint, but it's a different packaging branding on the vanilla mint just for the WOLFPACK. So if you go to rippack.com and use the promo code WOLFPACK, you'll get 15% off of a package of Rip Packs and the great stocking stuffer for first responders, great stocking stuffers for your hunters, your athletes, people that are brushing their teeth on the go. Get some Rip Packs in you. And like I said, there's less than 1,000 left. It's just for the Rip Pack only. It only goes through Christmas. Great stocking stuffer. So go hit up Rip Pack.
Giddy up. Well, guys, thanks for hanging in there with us on this one. And don't just let it pass. Decide to take some action. Decide to be very, very clear and bold in your stance. And that's the way forward. Until next time. Guns up.
Oh, wait. There's 99 people still in there. Let me end it with a joke.
Okay.
Why doesn't the transvestite man eat meat?
Why?
Because he was a herbivore. Yeah. He was